The signal from the dead world asterisk in the quiet orbit above the gas giant Zalin. A massive listening post floated silently in space. It was called Relay Station E91. Built by the Galactic Union to monitor dead systems, mostly for research, sometimes for defense. The station's scanners were old but strong, reaching thousands of light-years through the void. One day, at exactly 0300 standard cycle, the silence broke. The signal came from Sector 019, also known as Sol, the system where Earth once existed. Earth was officially listed as extinct, destroyed in a planetary collapse 40,000 years ago. No survivors, no ruins, only dust and echoes. But now, it spoke. The message was short. A single word repeated every 6 seconds in every known language. Run. Technician Yelna dropped her mug as the word repeated in her headset. That can't be real, she whispered. Earth is dead. Commander Threx stormed into the room. What did you just say? Yelna turned to him, her skin pale blue from fear. Sir, we received a class red signal. Origin Sol. Threx stared at the screen. The coordinates were exact. The signal was not a recording. It was live. Send a probe, he ordered. Within minutes, a drone was launched toward the ancient system. It would reach Earth's last location in just under 4 hours. Meanwhile, the message continued across all frequencies. Run, across the galaxy. The signal reached old satellites, abandoned beacons, and even pirate ships. All received the same message. Some laughed, others ignored it, but a few, especially the elders, felt a chill they hadn't known in centuries. Back at Relay Station E91, the probe suddenly vanished. No explosion, no trace. It was there one moment, then gone the next. The station's scanners showed nothing. Just black. We lost the probe, Yelna said, her voice shaking. It's like something swallowed it. Threx didn't speak. He just stared at the black square where the Sol system used to be. Then the lights flickered, all across the station. Screens turned to static. Warning signs blinked red, but no alerts came from command. Instead, a soft voice echoed through every room, a voice that was not male or female, not robotic or organic. It was something else. We are awake. Panic spread across the crew. Weapons were drawn. Systems were locked down. Threx activated the emergency firewall, but it was already too late. The voice had reached the core systems. A hologram appeared in the center of the room. It showed Earth not dead, not destroyed but hidden. A metallic layer now covered its surface, like armor. Massive spires reached into the clouds, glowing faint red. The planet had changed. It was never dead, Yelna whispered. It was sleeping. The voice returned. You should have left us buried. You walked on our ashes and called yourselves gods. Now run. The hologram flickered. Switching to the other planets of the Sol system, Mars was gone. Jupiter had collapsed into a swirling forge, and Saturn's rings now held weapon platforms moving at impossible speeds. We have to warn the Council, Threx shouted. This isn't a signal, it's a warning. But communications were already compromised. Every attempt to send data out was blocked by a silent firewall. The station never installed. Built-in Earth code, 40,000 years old, and still functioning. The lights went out completely, only the central screen remained. The final message blinked slowly in red text. We gave peace, you gave silence, now, we give you fear. Outside the station, something massive moved past the hull. Unseen, unheard, but felt. The crew felt a low hum in their bones. A vibration from deep space. Something ancient, something cold, something human. Yelna looked at Commander Threx, her voice barely a whisper. Do you think anyone's still alive down there? He didn't answer. He just stared at the message. Run. The human ghost fleet. Panic spread through the outer colonies like wildfire. Ships changed course. Stations locked down. And entire star systems went silent. All because of one word. Run. Broadcast. From a planet thought dead for 40,000 years. At first, no one believed it. How could Earth, the lost cradle of humanity, send a live signal after so long? But when Relay Station E91 went dark without a trace, everything changed. The Varnock Empire sent 3 warships to investigate. These were heavy cruisers, strong and battle-tested. They entered the Sol system with full shields, weapons hot, and commanders ready to fight ghosts if needed. Then, they disappeared. No wreckage, no distress calls, not even energy signatures. They simply ceased to exist in the galactic core. Commander Threx had just one thought left. It's not just a signal, he whispered. Something is out there. Back at Council Command, Ancient records were opened for the first time in millennia. Human legacy files, most of them corrupted or sealed, were reviewed by alien scholars and historians. What they found sent shivers through them. A final human protocol had been activated near Earth's end. Something called Project Ironsleep. It was not a weapon. It was something worse, a transformation. Humanity had not died, they had withdrawn. Slowly and completely, building beneath the planet's surface, hiding behind cloaked networks and silent machines, they had turned themselves into something more. The next proof came quickly, in the Orion sector. A mining ship drifted into an old human outpost. It was abandoned, or so they thought. As soon as they docked, their systems froze. The ship's AI started playing a recorded message, not from the crew, but from the outpost itself. A human voice echoed through the corridors, quiet and calm. Your weapons are useless. Your shields are soft. You stood on our bones. Now, run. The crew tried to escape, but the ship had already locked itself down. One alien crew member survived, found drifting days later in an escape pod. His mind was broken. He spoke of ships made of shadow, of engines that made no sound, and of eyes that watched from behind walls. The galaxy realized something terrifying. Humanity had evolved into myth, and now that myth had awakened. In Sector Q9, over 30 cloaked ships appeared on scanners at once. They had no heat signature, no identification, no origin point. They moved in perfect formation, surrounding an entire fleet of council patrols. The patrol ships sent warnings, fired test shots, and tried to communicate. The human fleet did not respond. They simply hovered. Then one by one, the council ships powered down. Every system turned off, disabled remotely, quietly, without violence. The last transmission from that sector was a whisper caught in static. They're not coming. They're already here. In the shadows of the galaxy, the fear became real. Human technology, once primitive, now broke every rule of physics known. Their ships moved without fuel. Their weapons required no heat, and their communication used frequencies no alien could trace. At council assembly, panic took over. Members from various species screamed at each other, demanding answers. Some wanted to fight, some wanted to flee. Others, mostly the old ones, just stared into space. An elder from the Mirari species spoke softly. They gave us peace for thousands of years. We called them soft. Now they return, not to talk, but to remind us what they once chose not to be. In the outer rims, strange machines began appearing, left behind silently in orbit, each one repeating the same broadcast across every language. In a soft and slow human voice, you walked over our graves. You laughed at our silence. Now, hear our truth, run. The message reached every system within 5 sectors of Earth. And still, no one knew how wide this human ghost fleet truly was. Only one thing was certain. They weren't speaking out of hate. They weren't screaming in rage. They were measured, certain, and that was what made it terrifying. The stars were no longer safe, from the richest core worlds to the forgotten outer colonies. Fear had taken hold. The word human was no longer spoken with curiosity or pity, it was spoken with trembling. Everywhere, the same message echoed, in every tongue, through every screen, run. In the shadow of what remained of Jupiter, something vast had awakened. A structure larger than any station ever built now rose from its molten heart. It was not a ship, not a weapon. It was something else. It pulsed with red light like a heartbeat, releasing waves of silent code across nearby systems. Machines failed instantly, AI minds went quiet, satellites turned to face the object like it was their master. No species could crack the code, no one could stop it, and no one could predict what it would do next. At Council Emergency Command, leaders from 50 systems gathered in secret. Some shouted for war, some for surrender, some simply wept. But none of their words mattered. A human hologram appeared in the chamber you invited. It showed no face, just a shape made of shifting metal and light. It spoke with no emotion. You feared monsters, it said. But it was kindness you should have feared. We asked for peace. You offered silence. Now, silence is what you shall receive. The chamber collapsed into chaos. Security systems failed, lights flickered, and every door locked at once, across the galaxy. The same thing happened again and again. Powerless species trapped in their own buildings, their own ships, their own fears. In orbit over the planet Draxer, 4, a fleet of human ghost ships arrived without sound. No announcements, no weapons fired. The alien citizens watched from the ground, paralyzed. Then, one by one, their skies went dark. The stars disappeared. When power returned, hours later, everything was still standing. No destruction, no death. Just a single line burned into the central tower of the city. Next time, we won't knock. On small refugee ships fleeing the center of the galaxy, stories spread like wildfire. The humans don't speak, they don't sleep, they don't negotiate. They simply move and erase what they do not need. A historian from the Velen species uncovered a lost Earth archive buried in a forgotten moon. Inside was the final message of humanity's last great leader before Earth went dark. Kindness is not weakness. Restraint is not fear. But if you break the chain of peace, what follows is not war. It's justice. That message was now engraved in the hearts of all who survived. The human network, as it came to be called, continued spreading. It didn't conquer, it didn't enslave, it simply replaced everything that came before. Quietly, quickly, completely, some alien worlds surrendered without a fight. They were absorbed and not harmed, but transformed. Their systems now spoke Earth code, their skies patrolled by black ships that never landed. They were watched, and they knew it. In one quiet corner of the galaxy, a young alien girl looked up at the night sky. Her father sat beside her, whispering bedtime stories. "Why are the humans angry?" she asked. "They're not," he replied gently. "Then why are we all running?" He looked at her and said the words everyone now knew by heart. "Because we didn't listen when they were kind, and now, we have to run while we still can." The galaxy had forgotten what humanity was truly capable of. Now, it remembered.